Sunlight is far more than just a source of warmth and illumination. It's a natural powerhouse of frequencies that interact not only with plants, but with our bodies in profound ways. From ultraviolet rays to infrared rays and visible light, the rainbow, each wavelength offers unique benefits that support physical and mental well-being. So let's dive into the remarkable ways the sun spectrum enhances our health, exploring the science behind the most researched spectra: UVA, UVB, infrared, red light, and blue light. So ultraviolet A, it's in the range of 315 to 400 nanometers, and it sets in roughly about an hour after sunrise. UVA penetrates deeper into the skin than UVB, that comes in later. And UVA offers its own set of benefits, particularly in the realm of circulation and immunity. But the first one, dopamine release, is actually for all the sunlight. So all sunlight, including UVA, influences dopamine production in the brain. This feel-good neurotransmitter enhances mood, motivation, and focus and drive. Nitric oxide and blood pressure regulation are affected by UVA. It triggers the release of nitric oxide in the skin, a molecule that dilates blood vessels, improves blood flow, and lowers blood pressure naturally. And the third most prominent effect of UVA is that it boosts immune regulation and reduces autoimmunity. Let's switch now to ultraviolet B. UVB rays found in the 280 to 315 nanometer range are often celebrated for their role in vitamin D synthesis, but their benefits extend far beyond that. Here's how UVB works its magic. Vitamin D production. When UVB rays hit our skin, they trigger the conversion of cholesterol in the skin into this pre-vitamin D3, which becomes vitamin D3, which is actually a hormone in our body. This essential nutrient supports bone health, immune function, mood regulation, and more. The second effect is testosterone boost. UVB exposure has been linked to increased testosterone levels in men. Studies suggest that UVB stimulates the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, enhancing hormone production and vitality. The third one is melanin synthesis. UVB stimulates melanocytes in the skin to produce melanin, the pigment responsible for tanning. And beyond aesthetics, melanin acts as a natural shield against UV damage and also potentially as a source of energy for the mitochondria. The fourth effect of UVB on our body is the release of beta endorphins, nature's painkillers. UVB exposure triggers the release of these endorphins. They are opioid-like compounds that elevate mood and reduce pain perception. And beyond endorphins, UVB may also reduce pain by modulating inflammation and nerve sensitivity, offering a natural analgesic effect. The fifth one is leptin sensitivity and fat loss. UVB helps regulate leptin, the hormone that signals fullness and the major accountant of energy balance in the body that reports to the brain. Improved sensitivity may curb overeating and support metabolic health, and by enhancing leptin sensitivity and boosting metabolism via vitamin D, UVB can indirectly aid weight management efforts as well. The sixth one is antiviral and antibacterial properties. UVB has germicidal effects. It damages the DNA of viruses and bacteria on the skin and in the air, and bolsters this way your body's defenses. The seventh one is gamma MSH, salt balance and blood pressure. UVB stimulates gamma melanocyte stimulating hormone, which regulates sodium balance and in turn helps maintain healthy blood pressure. And the eighth is alpha MSH, immune regulation. This is another UVB-induced peptide which supports immune balance. Now let's talk about infrared A. This is in the spectrum of 700 to 1400 nanometers. It penetrates even deeper, reaching subcutaneous tissues and delivering cellular level benefits. The first one is subcellular melatonin production. IRA stimulates mitochondria to produce melatonin locally in the mitochondria. And melatonin is a potent antioxidant that protects cells from oxidative stress. The second effect of infrared light is photoprevention versus sunburn. It preconditions the skin against UV damage, reducing sunburn risk by enhancing cellular resilience. That's why it's important to start your day by exposing your skin to sunrise rays. The third one is it builds easy water, what Gerald Pollack calls easy, but basically this is a gel-like water. It helps structure the water in our cells into this exclusion zone that supports cellular hydration and function. So the more of this gel-like fourth phase water you have built in your body, the more hydrated you are and the better electrolytes work in your body as well. And more things. It's hydrophilic, so it loves protein surfaces, so it hydrates very well, and it supports communications between the cells in our body through electric impulses. The fourth effect of infrared A on our body is anti-inflammatory effects. By reducing oxidative stress and cytokine activity, IRA calms inflammation throughout the body. It also builds collagen. It stimulates fibroblasts to produce collagen, promoting skin elasticity and wound healing. So yes, being in the sun is actually a good thing for your skin. And the sixth major effect is nitric oxide and blood pressure regulation. Again, like UVA, infrared light boosts nitric oxide, which enhances circulation and cardiovascular health. Let's talk now about red light, which is in the range of 620 to 750 nanometers. It's part of the visible spectrum, and it targets mitochondria for systemic benefits. It enhances cytochrome C oxidase activity in mitochondria, boosting ATP production and cellular energy. So basically increasing your energy through ATP, which is the currency of energy in the body. And red light also reduces blood clotting by improving blood flow and reducing platelet aggregation. What about blue light? The blue light spectrum is the circadian setter. It's in the range of 450 to 495 nanometers, and it's the most abundant in the sky during midday when the sun is high, particularly on clear days. This is due to Rayleigh scattering, so-called, which scatters shorter wavelengths like blue more effectively than longer wavelengths. Peak abundance occurs around noon to early afternoon when sunlight travels through less atmosphere, maximizing scattering of blue light. Overcast skies or times near sunrise and sunset, they reduce blue light, as longer wavelengths dominate, like reds and oranges. Here's what blue light does. So blue light signals the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain to suppress melatonin and align your sleep-wake cycle, promoting alertness when you go out into the morning sunlight. So it's the benefit of circadian health of the blue light. Serotonin production. Morning blue light boosts serotonin, enhancing mood and emotional resilience throughout the day. And also adipose regulation. What's going on there is that melanopsin, which is the blue light photoreceptor located in our eyes, skin, and subcutaneous fat, works together with the leptin in the fat that we have in the subcutaneous area. So through that couple of melanopsin and leptin, blue light influences fat cells, promoting fat breakdown and aiding metabolic balance. That's why you want to expose as much skin as possible to sunlight, especially when blue light is present, which is it peaks at noon to early afternoon. So after this quick breakdown, if you've been paying attention, you may be wondering, if UVB is so potent, what about people living in areas where UVB is absent a huge chunk of the year? What about UVA's effects on POMC, the so important pro-opium-melanocortin pathway that regulates mood, stress response, metabolism, tanning, immune function, cardiovascular function, and more? Well, the truth is that UVA 315 through 400 nanometers does exert an effect on POMC, the pro-opium-melanocortin gene, but it's less direct and weaker compared to UVB's starting role. While UVB is the primary driver of POMC expression in the skin, UVA contributes in a supporting capacity, influencing the POMC gene through different mechanisms and with subtler outcomes. So let's break it down. UVB's effect on POMC is straightforward. It hits the skin, it activates DNA damage pathways, and ramps up POMC transcription in keratinocytes and melanocytes fast and hard. On the other hand, UVA has longer wavelengths. It penetrates deeper into the dermis, but doesn't trigger that same acute DNA damage response. Instead, it works more through oxidative stress and secondary signaling on the POMC gene. Studies peg UVA's impact on POMC as modest, maybe 20 to 30% of UVB's potency under similar doses, per experiments like those in Photodermatology, Photoimmunology, and Photomedicine Journal in 2005. So people who live at higher latitudes, where UVB levels drop significantly, especially in winter, they face a real challenge when it comes to POMC activation and its downstream benefits. So with the sun low on the horizon and UVB often blocked by the atmosphere, especially during polar nights, they've had to adapt, our ancestors had to adapt through diet, lifestyle, and biology to stay healthy. Here's how they used to manage without the steady UVB POMC boost. So they had dietary workarounds. They got their vitamin D from food. At high latitudes, people historically leaned on fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, cod liver, seal blubber, and other marine sources rich in preformed vitamin D3. For example, Inuit populations in the Arctic thrived on diets delivering 10,000 international units of vitamin D daily, bypassing the need for UVB synthesis in this regard. Other adaptations included lighter skin. Populations at higher latitudes, like Northern Europeans, evolved lighter skin over millennia to maximize UVB absorption when it's available in the summer months. Less melanin in the skin means weak UVB rays can trigger POMC and vitamin D production, giving them an edge over darker-skinned ancestors in sunnier climates. POMC sensitivity also, some research hints that northern adapted groups might have genetic tweaks enhancing POMC expression or peptide efficiency. Though this is speculative and less studies, it's a possible compensatory mechanism for lower UVB doses. The third adaptation is more UVA year-round. So UVA and visible light, while UVA's effect on POMC is weaker, it still contributes through the oxidative stress and nitric oxide, as we discussed. High-latitude folks get more UVA year-round. It's less filtered by the atmosphere, which might nudge POMC enough to sustain low-level peptide activity. And there's also lifestyle adjustments. So when UVB is available spring to fall, high-latitude people historically maximized exposure through fishing, herding, farming. They were stockpiling this vitamin D in the summer and POMC peptides in fat tissue, which could then tide them over leaner months. And those stores deplete after 2-3 months without replenishment. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's something. And cold adaptation, because POMC peptides like ACTH tie into stress and energy regulation. So cold climates might upregulate these pathways through the non-UV pathways, like through stress hormones, partially offsetting UVB's absence. Yes, nature has a backup system for the lack of sunshine at higher latitudes, and that's through cold exposure. Cultural and physiological resilience also played a role. So without the UVB-driven beta endorphins, Northerners leaned on physical activities like sauna and physical activity in the snow, like skiing, and social bonds to boost natural opioids. So seasonal affective disorder shows the limit of this, though low POMC activity in winter hits mood hard for some people. And there's also immune trade-offs. Alpha MSH from POMC helps immunity, but high-latitude diets rich in omega-3s and cold-induced immune priming through hypothermia might fill the gap. Still, vitamin D deficiency left people vulnerable, historically seen in higher rickets rates before supplementation became available. And so, folks, let's have a reality check. Our ancestors at high latitudes survived, but not necessarily thrived in winter months without the UVB. And they just made do with fish and fair skin and, gritting and sticking it out. It was a compromise, right? So get out there and get some sun. That's my message, wherever you are.